All right, party peoples of the interwebs, the world has gone crazy.
Period.
Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler in my home office, just drinking some wonderful coffee this morning. The world has gone absolutely batshit crazy. Sorry to swear so early on in the video and so early on in the morning. It's 8:15 and I'm getting ready to hit the road because I'm going to be on with Tim Pool Monday night. The world has gone crazy. Yesterday, we all saw the video of J.D. Vance and Donald Trump giving a dressing down to one Volodymyr Zelensky, who came to the White House and apparently was a little belligerent, a little perhaps a sense of entitlement because of the treatment he got under the prior administration compared to the treatment he's getting under the current administration. And if you needed something of a stark contrast as to how it was going versus how it is going, here's a 30-second video I put together yesterday.
We're all dressed up today. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
So Trump and Vance give Zelensky what I feel to be a deserved dressing down, and all of the white knights on the internet start going crazy. Trump and Vance are a big bunch of bullies. I stand with Ukraine. Yeah, everyone is out there standing with Ukraine from their respective pedestals, from their respective first places on their virtue signaling trophies, while they're sending other people's kids to the slaughter. And it was such a barrage, such a deluge of virtue signaling. I stand with Ukraine, yada, yada, yada. It was one person after the other. It almost felt inorganic, and I think part of it is very, very inorganic. For all the talk of Russian bots on the internet, I get the sneaking suspicion there might be a little formerly USAID funded pro-Ukraine bots on the internet. People were just going nuts. But before we even get there and my assessment of some of the cream of the crop, prize-winning idiotic tweets, I predict one thing: there will be peace between Russia and Ukraine, and I'm predicting that within a month. Viva Fry at the Viva Fry. There will be a peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine within a month. Bookmark it. And the virtue signaling, it was virtually universal. It's so universal, one questions how Ukraine is having trouble conscripting soldiers to continue fighting this war. Everyone is out there supporting Ukraine, except they're not really supporting it with their own kids. They're supporting it with the slaughter of Ukrainian children. And you've got American politicians coming out and saying, I stand with the Ukrainians who live in my state. There are over 50,000 Ukrainians living in New York, Pennsylvania, whatever. And I'm like, hey, you also have Russian Americans living in your state that you are seemingly neglecting or turning into second-class citizens, or I dare even say enemies of their own country, by prioritizing your favoritism for your Ukrainian American citizens. Governor Josh Shapiro at Governor Shapiro. Pennsylvania is the proud home to over 150,000 Ukrainian and Ukrainian American people. Some have planted roots here for generations, and tens of thousands are here to find safety after fleeing Vladimir Putin's aggression. My statement on today's White House meeting with President Zelensky, and you can pause and read it at your leisure, to which I respond, you have 50,000 Russian Americans in Pennsylvania as well, dumbass. You also represent them. But don't worry, the virtue signaling stupidity is not just limited to Pennsylvania. It's not just limited to blue states. It's not just limited to America. It also extends to Canada and the so-called Conservative Party. But first, let's take a stop in New York. Governor Kathy Hochul at Gov Kathy Hochul. Ukraine is our ally. Putin is not. It's not complicated. I'm proud to be the governor of the state with the largest Ukrainian population in America. This president may not stand with democracy, but we will. To which I respond, you represent over 1.6 million Russian Americans in New York. You fucking idiot. Represent all of your citizens or resign. Oh yeah, and on that pesky thing of the Ukrainian democracy, I put out a tweet astutely observing the following. Viva Fry at the Viva Fry. Ukraine is such a model democracy, it doesn't even need to hold elections anymore.
Let's take a brief pause from this video for a word from our sponsor, The Wellness Company. What if the next global health crisis isn't just a pandemic, but part of a much darker plan? It's no coincidence that Dr. Anthony Fauci's pardon started on January 1st, 2014. This marks a pivotal moment in history, the year the Obama administration and the four-letter agencies took control of Ukraine. Shortly after, Fauci spearheaded controversial gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses in biolabs. This is a strategic bioweapon production, a threat that has been brewing for over a decade. And if that wasn't disturbing enough, new findings point to Pfizer's bribe payment to the FBI to get their bioweapon disguised as a vaccine approved for mass use. This coordinated global development wasn't just about public health, it's about power, control, and profit. And coincidentally, the media is sounding the alarm about a new strain of bird flu, one that could spread rapidly, wiping out populations and overwhelming healthcare systems. This is why you need the Wellness Company's Contagion Emergency Kit Engineered by Dr. Pina McCullough and his medical board, it includes 5 life-saving medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Tamiflu, and a nebulizer designed to protect you from the next global threat. Ordering is simple. You go online, you fill out a digital intake form, and the kit arrives in 1 to 2 weeks. Don't wait for the next outbreak to be caught off guard. Get your kit today. Go to twc.health/Viva. Use promo code Viva. It'll save you $32 off plus free shipping. Once again, that is twc.health/Viva for $32 off and free shipping. Kits are only available in the US. And now back to the vlog.
And while we are geographically ascending the ladder of communism from Pennsylvania to New York, let's go to Canada, where Chrystia Freeland, who is vying to become the leader of the Liberal Party, the next Prime Minister of Canada, puts out this tweet. I can't read it because it's not in English or French, the only 2 official languages of the country of Canada. But when we translate it, it says, make no mistake, Ukraine is fighting for democracy. A just and lasting peace requires Ukraine to be at the negotiating table, and its victory will enable greater security for us all. Ukraine must win. Putin must lose. It's amazingly stupid. Let's go to the negotiating table where someone must win and someone must lose. That's not called negotiation. Negotiation is everybody concedes and everybody wins and everybody loses. But you say, let's go to the negotiating table where Ukraine must win and Putin must lose. That's one hell of an approach. Also, Chrystia Freeland, English, French, those are the only 2 official languages of the country you purport to represent. But I do think you represent Ukraine over Canada. And if you thought the political inanity ended with the Liberal Party, once again, you would be wrong. Canada is a uni-party country because this is what Pierre Poilievre had to tweet out yesterday. Pierre Poilievre at Pierre Poilievre. As leader of Canada's common sense conservatives, I have always been clear we stand with Ukraine in its defense against Vladimir Putin's illegal invasion. I also firmly believe that the future of Ukraine must be determined by the Ukrainian people. Conservatives will always stand on the side of freedom and democracy. To which I responded, so then you'll demand Zelensky call elections? And just to highlight the fact that Canada is a uni-party commie state where the so-called conservatives are nothing but liberals light, I put together a montage. These are the leaders of Canada. A tweet from Mark Carney, at Mark J. Carney, the WEF globalist whore who is going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. Freedom and democracy are always worth fighting for. Slava Ukraini. And from Chrystia Freeland, at CA Freeland, make no mistake, Ukraine is leading the fight for democracy. A just and lasting peace requires Ukraine to be at the negotiating table, and its victory will make all of us safer. Ukraine must win, Putin must lose, Slava Ukraini. And then we got Wab Kinu, at Wab Kinu, Zelensky is a hero, Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. And in case you didn't know who Wab Kinu is, because many of you probably did not, he is Dad, Premier of Manitoba.
We stand for the fact that Ukraine will always be its own, your own, free, independent, democratic nation. Just like Canada will always be our own free, independent, democratic nation.
And before I finish with some final thoughts in the form of a tweet I put out last night that seems to have reverberated, a reminder, make sure that you are subscribed, that you have notifications turned on, drop a comment in the comment section below, Viva Fry on Rumble, vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the best above average community out there. Exercise, eat healthy, sunlight, talk to people in real life, and now my final thoughts on the subject. Peace out, peeps. Booyah. If you stand with Ukraine, go stand with Ukraine in Ukraine. If you want to support Ukraine, go fight for the army that can't find any more people to send to the slaughter. If you are a politician in any country other than Ukraine, flying the Ukrainian flag in your profile, resign and go to Ukraine. And if you're not prepared to do that, shut your filthy virtue signaling mouth and let Ukraine and Russia figure it out. And had you shut your ignorant traps from day one instead of being a bunch of virtue signaling, politically ignorant, useful idiots on the internet, you might have actually saved 100,000 plus people's lives. But hey, they weren't your kids, so go ahead and stand with Ukraine. Idiots.